Welcome to the College Football Show with Alec Peccato on Wednesday, January 15th. Today's show is a recap of all the bowl season plus a recap of our MVP chart, which I think we did pretty good on. So let's get right into it. And that's the first thing we are going to do today. Here's our MVP chart for bowl season. As you can see, we went 9-6. The only games we missed were the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Virginia Tech, Minnesota. I think if we would have picked Minnesota, that would be another win. If we would have picked South Carolina, if we would have picked Illinois, that would have been another win. And same with if we would have picked a different bowl game instead of the Sun Bowl, I think we would have won that. But this was a little learning experience for everybody, included. The one area we struggled in on our first taste of the MVP chart was the leans. We went 2-3 on our MVP leans during bowl season, with the ReliaQuest Bowl, Alamo Bowl, and Independence Bowl all being losses, and our two wins being the Bahamas Bowl and the Boca Raton Bowl. Overall, for the debut of the MVP chart, I think we did well. 9-6, not a bad record. There's some stuff that we can fix going into week 1 next year. As you can see, we did really good with our locks. We went 4-1 with the locks. We went 3-2 with our game picks during bowl season. And like I said, the only area we struggled in was the leans, which we went 2-3 in our leans. And overall, that's 9-6. Solid for the debut of the MVP chart. And the MVP chart will be making its full debut next season in week 1 of the college football season and every week following that. And next order of business is going back to sharing the screen, and going back to now we're going to review every bowl game, starting with the Celebration Bowl. Congratulations to Jackson State for winning the Celebration Bowl 28-7. And Jackson State played, and like I said during the season, I watch every college football game. So, and Jackson State, this was a sloppy, I'm going to say this was a sloppy cricket celebration bowl between Jackson State and South Carolina State in terms of not how they played on the field, but the weather. The weather was not particularly good, but congratulations to Jackson State on winning the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Now the first bowl game, and it was the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl between South Alabama and Western Michigan. And I can safely say that I didn't think it was going to be a good game, but boy, I was wrong. Coming by the final score, 30-23. This ended up being a good game between two teams that were 6-6. And congratulations, South Alabama, as we did pick. And in our bowl picks, we went 13-7, which wasn't too bad. But there was some games we missed, and this was one of them. Then another one we missed was Memphis, West Virginia, in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. We had Memphis, I believe, winning this. No, we had West Virginia winning. And if I'm wrong, you can go back and watch the video where we did our bowl selections. But I believe we had West Virginia winning this game. No, we didn't. Yes, this was one of the games we did get right. Congratulations to Memphis on a great season, going 11-2, and was the last game for Seth Hennigan as quarterback at Memphis. He played a pretty good game, so did Garrett Green. But again, congratulations to Memphis. UNLV and Cal. And from the Artist Sports LA Bowl, we had Cal winning this game, and we lost. But it was a good game overall. And I feel like if they played again, Cal and UNLV, we would get the same result that we ended up getting in this game if they played again next year or in a couple of years. Now we go down to the Boca Raton Bowl, where this was one of our MVP selections, MVP chart selections. For James Madison, gave him an 80% chance to win, and they ended up winning. Western Kentucky's quarterback did play good. Pettaway did play good for James Madison, 100 yards rushing. And Amorian Dolison had 82 yards receiving for James Madison. And JMU, congratulations on the win. We go to Georgia Southern and Sam Houston in the New Orleans Bowl, which this wasn't technically, it was a neutral site game, but it wasn't a home game for either team. But I see it as congratulations. We did have Sam Houston winning this game, so we did get that right. But close game, as you can see, 31-26 was the final. Now we go down first round of the college football playoff between Notre Dame and Indiana. And yes, we did have Notre Dame beating Indiana. But Indiana, they fell down early. And they started to make a comeback toward the end of the game. But Notre Dame ends up winning. Then we get to the Cure Bowl between Jacksonville State and Ohio. And we had Jacksonville State on our board as one of the MVP picks. We had Jacksonville State to cover +2.5, and they kept it at 3. And that cover pick, as you saw a minute ago, hit. Now, and congratulations to Ohio on an 11-3 season. Now we go down to the Gasparilla Bowl between Florida and Tulane. And yes, we did have the Gators winning. We did have the Gators as one of the bowl season picks to win. And they did, as you can see, they won pretty easily here. And I wasn't too surprised. It seemed like Tulane didn't really care to be in the Gasparilla Bowl. They thought they should have been in a better bowl game. And as an American Athletic Conference fan, I agree. They should have been in a better bowl game, but that's not for me to decide. Then we get to the Clemson-Texas College Football Playoff first round game. And Texas, we all saw this coming. Texas was going to run through the first 2 rounds until they got to Ohio State, which we'll get to Ohio State in a minute. And yes, we did have Texas beating Clemson. Congratulations to Texas on a great season. Then we have Penn State and SMU. And this one hurts me because I picked SMU to beat Penn State. And we're not going to talk about that because I need to admit when I'm wrong. And I was wrong about Penn State. Penn State 38-10. And we moved down to Ohio State and Tennessee. I had full confidence that Ohio State was going to bounce back after 2 weeks off after the Michigan game. And Ohio State beats the brakes off of Tennessee, 42-17. Will Howard had a good game. So did Travion Henderson. Jeremiah Smith has had a really good freshman season, and I think he should have won the award for the best freshman, not the kid from Texas. So then we go to the FCS Championship semifinals, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. And we did not pick these we did not pick North Dakota State or South Dakota State, but as thing as the final score, it was a close game, 1 possession. North Dakota State won. South Dakota State's quarterback is now in the FBS. He transferred. South Dakota and Montana State. This was another one that was 2 possession game, but I think if South Dakota ended up scoring another touchdown, they could have brought it to within 1 possession, but it's neither here nor there. Then we get to the games Monday before Christmas, and we had UTSA and Coastal Carolina, and we did have UTSA winning this game. In the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Owen McCowan, 254 yards and a touchdown. Henderson for UTSA, 81 yards and a touchdown. And Ambador, 110 yards receiving for UTSA. What a game by UTSA. And hopefully they take this as a stepping stone into 2025. Then we get down to the Idaho Potato Bowl, Fresno State and Northern Illinois. We had Fresno State in this game, and as you can see by the score, we did not do so well, but it's nothing to complain about. Like I said, we did go 13-7, so there was 7 games that we got wrong, and this is one of the 7. Then we had South Florida and San Jose State, another MVP pick. And we picked South Florida to cover the spread -2.5 on the MVP chart, and they did. And that was one of our 9 wins on the MVP chart. Then you go Pitt and Toledo. It went to 6 overtimes. Toledo ends up winning, which is another win for us. And I was surprisingly shocked at how many overtimes this game went to in the Games Above Sports Bowl, which we will get into in a second. The amount of hold up. Listen. Then you have Rutgers and Kansas State in the Rate Bowl. And we had Rutgers winning against Kansas State, and that's another one of our 7 losses. Good game now, as you can see. It ended up being a 44-41 final score. And K-State ended up winning, as you can see. Then we had the Ventrist Bowl between Arkansas State and Bowling Green. And we had Bowling Green winning this game, and they lost. But it was a good game, though. And we move on. Congratulations to Arkansas State. We got a few more bowl games. Holy moly. Okay, so back up we go. So we go down to Washington State and Syracuse in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. And we did have Syracuse winning, and they won 52-35. Good game from Kyle McCord, 5 touchdowns, 453 yards, 24-34. And what I'm going to say here is this was a going out performance for Kyle McCord, as he did declare for the draft after the game. We now move on. We, by the skin of our teeth on the MVP board chart, we won this next game. The Armed Forces Bowl between Navy and Oklahoma. Oklahoma failed 2-point conversion at the end of the game, saved us. I think if Oklahoma got the 2-point conversion at the end of the game, that would have turned into another loss. And then now we go down to Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt in the Birmingham Bowl. And what a season it was for Vanderbilt. Nobody expected this. We did have them winning this game as one of our 13 wins. Congratulations to everybody that picked Vanderbilt. And Diego Pavia will be back next year for Vandy. He got granted another year of eligibility. Then we go down to Arkansas and Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl. And we had Arkansas winning this game, and Arkansas did end up winning, unfortunately. Because I know there's some of you out there that probably did pick Texas Tech. But I liked the Arkansas pick a lot. Then we get down to USC and Texas A&M. 35-31. We had Texas A&M winning this game. I just didn't believe in Southern Cal to beat A&M. Marcel Reed. Jaden Maeva showed out in this game, and he's probably going to be the starter at USC next season. Then we go down to the 28th, December 28th, Iowa State, Miami, and the Pop-Tarts Bowl. What a game. Iowa State comes back and wins. We had Iowa State. No, we had Miami in this game, and I'm for sure of that. And I regret us not taking Iowa State. We should have taken Iowa State. Now we get down to Colorado, and this is the bowl game, the Alamo Bowl, and it's between Colorado and BYU. Now, listen and hear me out here. Why did the bowl committee put two teams from the same conference in a bowl game? We did lose this because we had Colorado win. We did have Colorado on our MVP chart as a 80% favorite. But that's not the problem I have here. I understand we lost. This this game on the chart, but make it make sense to me that you put two teams in the same conference in a bowl game together. Why? Just food for thought. Then we get down to Army and Louisiana Tech in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. And yes, we had to. This is the game we had to pivot because we had Marshall, and then Marshall opted out because half of their team jumped into portal. So, and I mentioned that in a post they made on YouTube the day I heard that Louisiana Tech was going to be the replacement, and we should have flipped our thing on the chart to Army because seeing Army won 27-6. UConn and North Carolina in the Fenway Bowl. We did have UConn in this game, and I'm not upset that we had UConn. I thought UConn was going to put up more points. Their quarterback threw for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. North Carolina, they were just, I don't think they wanted to be there. It's that simple. I think they're looking ahead to 2025 for Bill Belichick. Which, yes, Belichick is their new head coach. And then you had Nebraska and Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl. And we did have Nebraska winning. That's another one of our 13 wins. Grayson James had a decent game for Boston College, 300 yards passing. He did throw the ball a little too much, but we did have Nebraska, like I said, winning. TCU and Louisiana in the New Mexico Bowl. And we had TCU winning by a lot. I don't remember what we had as a final score. We did do a final score prediction, but we did have TCU winning. So there's another win. Then we get down to another game that was on the chart, and that is Miami of Ohio, Colorado State in the Arizona Bowl, presented by Snoop Dogg. Ask me 1,000 times why Snoop Dogg's got a bowl game named after him. I wouldn't be able to tell you. But anyway, what a season for Miami of Ohio. They did not win the MAC, but that doesn't deter them from winning this bowl game and using it as a building block for 2025. ECU and North Carolina State in the Military Bowl. I'm going to say that I was wrong on East Carolina. I was wrong in terms of how many games they were going to win. I wasn't wrong on that Mike Houston was going to get fired. I was wrong on the fact that they were going to win 8 games. But congratulations. And we did have East Carolina winning this game. So there's that. Then you go down to December 31st. December 30th. And you have Missouri and Iowa in the Music City Bowl. And we had Missouri winning this game. And Missouri won. Final game for Drew Brady Cook at Missouri. And same thing with Luther Burden. And they go out with a win. Then we go down to Penn State, Boise State. And we did have Penn State beating Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, which was another win. Oh, and I failed to mention our overall record in bowl season with just the national championship game left is 38-30. And you saw that we had. So, like I said, we had Penn State winning. So now we go down to the ReliaQuest Bowl, which you just saw a few minutes ago on the chart. Michigan beats Alabama 19-13. That's not the issue I have with this game. Ugly, ugly. To start the game, it looked like Alabama just didn't care to be. They did not want to be in Tampa at the ReliaQuest Bowl. They wanted to be home. But they started to make a comeback later on in the game, but it fell short. And then we've got Illinois and South Carolina in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. This was another game on our chart that we lost. Congratulations to Michigan and Illinois for winning their respective bowl games and supporting and helping the Big Ten have the best record in bowl season. Then you have Louisville and Washington in the Sun Bowl. And Louisville wins this game 35-34 on a failed 2-point attempt by Washington. And need I add, this was another one on our chart that we lost. Then you get to Baylor and LSU in the Texas Bowl. We had LSU, and LSU came through for us. Then you get down to Ohio State, Oregon. Ohio State got out to a 35-34 lead, and Oregon just couldn't keep up with them. And we had Ohio State beating Oregon. So then you get to Texas and Arizona State. Obviously, we had Texas winning. No, we didn't. We had Arizona State, and Arizona State would have won. But we're not going to get into why they lost because it's controversial. No targeting. Targeting, no targeting. That's all I'm going to say. And you had Thursday, January 2nd, Georgia, Notre Dame. We had Georgia. Regrettably, we had Georgia winning this game, and they lost. Gunnar Stockton did not play back, so it's not on Gunnar Stockton. And then we had Ole Miss winning the Gator Bowl against Duke. And congratulations to Notre Dame for being in the national championship game against Ohio State. Then you had Duke and Ole Miss. We had Ole Miss winning the Gator Bowl. And then you had a couple more. You had Friday, January 3rd. You had Texas State and North Texas in the First Responders Bowl. And we did have Texas State winning this and getting the win for us. And that finished off the 13 wins we had with picking the bowl games and including the college football playoff side. And then our last loss was Virginia Tech. Oh, wait. Our last win is Buffalo in the bowl known as the Bahamas Bowl. 26-7 over Liberty. And that was on our chart. And then the last game is... Oh, wait. Never mind, we got a couple more. So then you got Monday, January 6th. You had the FCS championship game between North Dakota State and Montana State. And North Dakota State wins its 10th FCS championship in 14 seasons. Yes, let me say that again. 10th title in 14 seasons, in 14 years for North Dakota State. Then we get down to January 9th, where we had Notre Dame and Penn State. Good game. Notre Dame played really well, and congratulations to Notre Dame, like I said earlier, for being in the national championship game against the winner of Texas Ohio State, which ends up being ends up being Ohio State. And now we get down to Monday, January 20th, Ohio State Notre Dame National Championship game. Ohio State is going to win the Natty. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched any previous episodes of this podcast, the Wrestling is Awesome podcast, the Pro Football podcast, the 9 Innings podcast, highly recommend that you do. And as you can see along the bottom of the screen, there are 2 ways to get your questions into the show. And we've had it the whole week. We've been doing this, the podcast episodes. You can either tweet your questions at AlexCFB using the hashtag CFB Show, CFBS, which is College Football Show, or by texting them in to the number at the bottom of the screen, 813-600-7673. But that's going to wrap it up for today's show. I will see everybody tonight at 8 o'clock with another episode of the 9 Innings podcast with co-host Bradley Walker.